The Segway arrived in 2001 with predictions that it would change how cities moved, that personal electric transport would make the car obsolete and reshape urban infrastructure around a two-wheeled self-balancing platform. None of that happened for the general public. For police departments, however, the Segway quietly found the one environment where it genuinely worked. Crowded pedestrian zones, airport terminals, shopping malls, theme parks, convention centers, any enclosed or semi-enclosed space where a patrol car cannot enter, and a bicycle is too slow to respond quickly. The Segway puts an officer at eye level with the public, more approachable than a mounted officer and more mobile than one on foot, covering ground at twice walking speed without the effort that running requires. Las Vegas, Disney properties, and dozens of international airports operate Segway patrol units specifically because the machine solves a problem that nothing else solves as elegantly. The Segway PT was discontinued in 2020. The police units that had adopted it quietly transitioned to successor platforms, primarily the T3 Patroller, a three-wheeled electric patrol vehicle designed specifically to fill the gap the Segway left in law enforcement, and 9-bot electric scooters for departments prioritizing lower cost over direct feature replacement. The vehicle that was supposed to change everything changed nothing for most people and changed exactly the right thing for a specific few. Snowmobile. Most police vehicles are defined by the roads they travel. The snowmobile is defined by the absence of roads entirely. In northern Canada, Scandinavia, Alaska, and the mountain communities of the American West, winters arrive that render every wheeled vehicle in the fleet useless for weeks or months at a time. The snowmobile does not need a road. It needs snow. And snow is exactly what those environments provide in quantities that defeat everything else. Police snowmobile units respond to avalanche rescues, pursue suspects across frozen lakes, reach remote properties that become inaccessible after heavy snowfall, and conduct border patrol along wilderness boundaries where no vehicle with wheels can follow. The machines themselves are purpose-modified from civilian snowmobile platforms. More powerful engines, reinforced frames, and in some configurations, enclosed cabs that protect officers during extended patrols at temperatures that make exposure dangerous in minutes. In the communities that depend on them, a police snowmobile is not a novelty. It is the only patrol vehicle that works for a significant portion of the year. MRZR. The Polaris MRZR was originally developed for the United States military as a lightweight tactical vehicle capable of being slung beneath a helicopter and inserted into terrain that no conventional vehicle can reach. The MRZR is primarily a military police tool rather than a civilian law enforcement vehicle. Military police units operating along the southern border deploy it specifically for the desert terrain that defeats full-size trucks. Narrow enough to navigate canyon paths and trail systems, light enough to be airlifted to positions inaccessible by road, and fast enough across rough ground to keep pace with anything likely to be moving through it. The MRZR is not a patrol vehicle for cities or suburbs. It is the patrol vehicle for the spaces between them, the desert crossings, the mountain passes, and the wilderness corridors where conventional vehicles run out of road long before the mission runs out of terrain. Hovercraft. Every police vehicle on this list stays on the road, the snow, or the water. The police hovercraft does none of these things in the conventional sense. It rides on a cushion of pressurized air, touching neither the surface of the water nor the ground beneath it, moving across floodwater, mud, marsh, ice, and open sea with equal indifference to what lies below. When hurricanes flood coastal cities and patrol boats cannot navigate the debris-strewn shallows, the hovercraft goes anyway. When a suspect crosses a tidal flat that no boat can follow and no vehicle can cross, the hovercraft follows. The United Kingdom's HM Coast Guard, Canadian Coast Guard, and several American law enforcement agencies operating near tidal zones and flood-prone rivers all maintain hovercrafts specifically for the environments where everything else has already given up. The machine is loud, expensive to operate, and requires specialized training. In the conditions it was built for, it is completely irreplaceable. Police Slingshot. The Polaris Slingshot is technically a three-wheeled motorcycle. It has no roof, no doors, no windows, and an open cockpit that puts the driver directly in the weather and the environment in a way that no patrol car ever does. Several police departments in tourist-heavy cities, Miami Beach among the most visible, have adopted the Slingshot specifically because those qualities are advantages rather than limitations in their operating environment. A Slingshot patrol officer is immediately visible, immediately approachable, and able to navigate the dense pedestrian and traffic conditions of a beachfront boulevard in ways that a full-size patrol car cannot. It generates conversations. Tourists photograph it. The presence it creates is different from any other patrol vehicle. Less authoritative, more accessible. A machine that invites interaction rather than signaling distance. In the specific geography of Miami Beach, where the job of policing includes community engagement as much as law enforcement, a three-wheeled open cockpit vehicle turns out to be exactly the right tool. Police tank M113. The M113 is not a tank. It is a tracked armored personnel carrier, and the distinction matters. A tank is built to fight. The M113 was built to carry. Moving American soldiers across Vietnamese battlefields in an aluminum hull vehicle designed to absorb small arms fire and get infantry through conditions that would stop everything else. No main gun, no heavy armor, no offensive combat role, just tracks, an engine, and enough protection to keep the people inside alive long enough to reach the other side. Decades after its military service ended, thousands of M113s entered a different kind of service entirely through the United States Federal 1033 program, which transfers surplus military equipment to civilian law enforcement agencies. The Tampa Police Department's M113, marked Rescue 2 and fitted with light bars, police livery, and department badges across its armored hull, is one of the most documented examples. It is not used for routine patrol. It is used for exactly the situations its military designers intended. Extracting people from danger, breaching positions too hostile for an officer on foot, and moving through environments where a conventional vehicle would be stopped or destroyed. The tracks that carried it across rice paddies and battlefields now roll through American streets, repainted and relabeled, but mechanically unchanged from the vehicle that left the factory floor decades ago. Camel Dubai and Saudi Arabia deploy camels on active police patrol. And the reason has nothing to do with tradition and everything to do with capability. No vehicle ever built handles deep desert sand, extreme sustained heat, and waterless terrain with the endurance, silence, and terrain sensitivity of a camel. They do not break down. They do not need fuel. They do not broadcast their approach with engine noise that announces every other patrol vehicle from miles away across flat desert terrain where sound carries further than most people expect. In the deep desert corridors between population centers, where a four-wheel drive gets stuck in soft sand and a helicopter burns through fuel faster than any patrol mission justifies, the camel simply walks. It reads the terrain instinctively, navigates soft ground that defeats wheeled vehicles, and maintains pace over distances that would exhaust an officer on foot. It has been doing this for thousands of years before policing existed as a concept and remains. In the specific conditions of desert law enforcement, genuinely without a mechanical equivalent. Robot dog. The robot dog does not have a name on the payroll. It does not collect a salary. It goes where no officer should be sent, into buildings where an active threat may be waiting, across terrain too dangerous for a human approach, through environments contaminated by gas or chemical agents that would be fatal within seconds of exposure. Boston Dynamics Spot Robot, initially deployed by the New York Police Department on a controversial trial basis in 2020, faced public backlash, was suspended in 2021, and was then reinstated and purchased permanently. A sequence that reflects exactly how uncomfortable societies become when robots start doing police work. Today, more than 60 bomb squads and SWAT teams across the United States and Canada operate Spot units, deploying them in armed standoffs, hostage rescues, and hazardous materials incidents. It has been shot by a suspect in Massachusetts and kept moving. It has approached crashed vehicles in Florida before officers to confirm whether a suspect was armed. It carries cameras and sensors that feed real-time intelligence back to officers at a safe distance. The robot dog is not replacing officers. It is replacing the moment of maximum danger that every officer faces before the situation becomes clear, and that replacement is no longer experimental. It is already standard.